What's good, y'all? It's that boy, Easy Millions, and I'm your host of That Boy ETV. You already know, man, we are back on Marvel Rivals, and here we are with another character breakdown. And as you can see in the background, it's for that boy, Jeff the Landshark, baby. So let's get right into this. And again, we're talking about Jeff the Landshark. He is a strategist healer. He has a base health of 250, and he has a movement speed of 6 meters a second, man. Now, Jeff the Landshark is a fun and easy to play strategist hero who can both heal allies and deal damage to enemies with his normal attacks. Jeff's Joyful Splash is an ultra long range heal. His Aqua Burst, on the other hand, is a powerful blast attack that also has long range and deals a good chunk of damage. Jeff can also heal allies with his Healing Bubble. This ability not only heals but gives a buff that increases healing from all sources. When it comes to survival, Jeff has one of the best movement abilities in the game. He can dive underground and significantly reduce his hitbox. In this state, Jeff also gets a boost in movement speed and is also able to swim up walls. He can remain in this state for as long as he wants, making this an amazing traversal ability. Lastly, Jeff's ultimate is a unique skill that allows him to swallow both enemies and allies. After swallowing enemies or allies, Jeff can proceed to move around and reposition them by using his Joyful Splash or with his Aqua Burst to spit out allies. You can use this ultimate to save your team from a pinch or to throw enemies off maps and insta-kill opponents. Overall, Jeff the Landshark is a strong character, and he is easy to pick up and master, man. Now, personally, to me, Jeff is one of the funner healers to play with his ability to use bubbles and his healing spray. Now, I will say, in the right hands, Jeff can be a solo healer, especially if he just focuses on it. But primarily due to the fact that you want to be able to take advantage of his ult as often as possible, it's probably best to have him as a secondary healer. This way, when he's off doing his ult or when he's transitioning into being more of a damage character, you're able to still have heals on the team. But overall, Jeff is a good healer to have, especially when most teams are going to be running at least 2 of them. And with his ult, which is highly technical, you can use that to definitely make big plays, man. But let's move right into his first ability here, and the first one is going to be called Joyful Splash. And with this, you unleash a Healing Splash. Healing Splash. This is a rapid fire delayed projectile. The projectile speed is going to be 100 meters a second. The healing amount is 140 a second. The fire rate is 20 rounds per second, and the ammo count is 100, man. And as you can see, when you shoot out this beam, you will heal your teammates. And this heal is all right. It's not that bad. Personally, I think you would use this probably more for like lower health, or if you're in a reset, you might as well go ahead and use this. It's a pretty decent heal, especially if you're trying to get one off quickly and you're out of your other abilities, man. So it's a pretty decent heal here. Not too bad, but also I'm not sure if it's his strongest one. But it's not that bad at all. It has great range, and it has a good healing effect on it, man. Now, for his second attack, it's called Aqua Burst. And with this, you launch a high-speed water sphere that bursts upon impact, dealing damage to enemies within range. This is a single-cast projectile with delayed impact that also generates a spell field. The projectile damage is going to be 25 per round. The spell field damage is going to be 40 damage per cast. The range is 3 meters in a spherical radius. The damage fall off begins at 1 meter, decreasing to 50% at 3 meters. The projectile speed is 100 meters a second. The fire rate is 1.75 rounds per second. The ammo count is going to be 12, and there is no critical hit on this. And as you can see, against your basic 250 to 275 heroes, you're going to get about 5 direct hits with this to go ahead and get a kill. Now, this also has the AoE splash damage, and if you use the splash damage, it's probably going to take around 7 shots to kill. So you're looking at around 5 to 7 shots to kill your basic 275, 250 heroes, man. Now, the Aqua Burst is actually very strong. Does a lot of good chunk damage, and if you're switching between this and your Joyful Splash very consistently and at the right times, you will be out there not only healing enemies, but dealing a lot of significant damage at the same time. So Jeff is one of those heroes that also can put out good amounts of damage when used properly, while also being able to keep the team healed up, man. But let's go ahead and get into these abilities. And the first one we're going to talk about is going to be called Hide and Seek. And with this, you dive into the scene with only his dorsal fin exposed, granting himself a movement boost. Jeff can heal while submerged and gains the wall crawl ability, man. And with this, it's an instant cast. And during the dive, gain unstoppable healing over time and a movement boost while Jeff's hitbox is reduced. Your movement speed is increased by 60%, and your healing amount will be 35 a second, man. Now, as you can see, when you pop this, you will deep into the ground. And while you're submerged, you will be able to heal yourself. You will also be able to climb walls with this, as you can see. And you'll be able to get up to some pretty high and cheeky places with this movement ability here, man. Now, with hide and seek, I find this to be a very good ability. When you're playing Jeff, this is pretty much going to be your get out of jail free card. When you see like your team die and you're the last one, you might want to go ahead and hop in there and get up out of there. Or if you're respawning, you'll use this to go ahead and get back to the map very quickly. But and the last use for this, again, is to get up into them high, cheeky places that a lot of people just don't really look up at and don't really notice. So this movement ability here is probably, in my opinion, one of the best in the game, as it gives him a very, very big movement boost. It does allow him to climb walls, and it significantly reduces his hitbox. So in my opinion, this is one of the better movement abilities in the game, and you should take advantage of this as much as possible when you are playing Jeff. Now, on to the next ability here, and that's going to be called the Healing Bubble. And with this, you spit a bubble that heals the ally who collects it, granting them healing boosts and movement boosts, while also launching up nearby enemies. This is a summons cast. When touching the bubble will immediately activate its effect and will knock back nearby enemies. The healing amount is going to be 85. The healing boost is going to be 15%. The movement boost is 60%. The buff duration is for 4 seconds. The duration is for 180 seconds, and it has 6 charges, with each charge taking 6 seconds to charge up, man. Now, as you can see, when you use this ability here, you will spit out a bubble. You can either spit it directly at your teammate, healing them directly, or you can go ahead and place them down on the map and allow your teammates to run over them, or you can self-heal yourself. Now, with the healing bubble, to me, the healing bubble is going to be the second way that you primarily heal with Jeff, because the way I see it to be the best is you're going to use his Joyful Splash, and if your Joyful Splash is not healing them fast enough, then I will go ahead and shoot a bubble at them. As long as you're aiming, the bubble is fairly pretty much like a hit scan, so as soon as you shoot it, it will pretty much get to your ally. So again, you'll probably primarily be using the Joyful Splash, and then while using that, you'll shoot the bubble out when you need a big burst of health. Or another strategy with the bubbles is, if you're playing something like Domination, to go ahead and place the bubbles down on the map already and letting your teammates know, hey, there are bubbles around this corner. This way, just like how health packs are on the map, you can place your bubbles in certain areas of the map so that your teammates know, hey, there's a health pack around the corner or a health bubble around the corner. So either you want to shoot your teammates directly with this, or you want to set them up in positions in which your teammates can easily access them while in fights. Okay, so one of the two, and also you can use this to self-heal yourself outside of hide and seek. So you can shoot out the bubble and pick it up yourself and still gain the same movement boost and health boost as your teammates, man. Now, we're going to move on to Jeff's next ability, which is actually going to be a passive, and this is going to be called Oblivious Cuteness. And with this, you reduce the damage taken from critical hits, and it's a 50% reduction on critical hits, man. And just like it says here, man, you basically just have a passive where you take 50% reduced damage on any critical hit that may come your way. This is just great, as it allows Jeff to stay alive a little longer. And if I'm not mistaken, it might actually prevent him from being one-shotted, but I'm not 100% sure, as I don't have the testing for that. But anyway, this right here is a very, very good passive, as it reduces damage incoming. You never know when the headshot is coming your way, and with him being one of the lower pool when it comes to health, you don't want to have to take that damage. So that 50% reduction on damage is very, very welcome. Now we're going to get into his ultimate, which is everybody's favorite ultimate in the game, and it's called It's Jeff. And with this, you dive deep into the scene and resurface to swallow both enemies and allies within range, activating hide and seek for a brief duration before ejecting the swallowed heroes forward. This is a targeted cast, and after swallowing allies and enemies, Jeff will deal damage to enemies and heal allies for the duration of the effect, during which they will also benefit from hide and seek. For this range, it's at 10 meters in a spherical radius. The damage is 25 per second. The healing amount is 225 a second. The duration is going to be 6 seconds, and the energy cost is going to be 4,000, man. And with this ability right here, as you can see, when you pop it, you will get a big circle on the ground. And if anyone within that circle, when you go ahead and pop it, you will swallow all of them, and you will hold them underneath you. If it's an enemy, you will see damage being taken, and you can go ahead and spit them out and off the edge if see fit. Now, with this ability here, everyone knows this ult and how annoying it is. It is actually getting nerfed in tomorrow's patch, but we will see how well it still is afterwards. But basically, this is one of the better ults in the game, especially when you're playing something like either Domination or Convoy, because Jeff is able to go in there, swallow up the whole team, and if we're on a map with edges, he can swallow up the whole team and take himself out in the process and just go off and kill everybody. Now, be careful when you're using this ult as far as just spitting out players, because there are certain heroes in the game that are able to get back on the map after you spit them out, like Hawkeye, Penny Parker, Namor, Squirrel Girl. There are a couple of people who have abilities that will allow them to survive being spit out. So make sure if you are spitting them out, you're aiming down towards the edge. You want to aim down. Don't aim up. You want to aim down. This way, when you shoot them out, they're already as low as possible, and most of the time they won't have time to actually use their abilities to get back. So just make sure that you're very aware of who you're swallowing up. This way that you know who can be spit out and who cannot. Now that we're done with that, we need to get on to his team-up abilities. And he actually has 2 of these. And the first one's going to be called Frozen Spitball. And this is with Luna Snow. And with this, Luna Snow infuses ice energy into Jeff the Landshark, who can tap into the ice energy power to power up his abilities. This is a single cast projectile with delayed impact that can also generate a spell field. This Aqua Burst will be replaced by Frozen Spitball. When Frozen Spitball hits an enemy or the environment, it will create an area that slows down enemies. Enemies within this area will experience a slowing effect. The projectile damage is going to be 30. The spell field damage is 40. The range is 5 meters in a spherical radius. The slow rate is 15%. The slow duration is 3 seconds. The projectile speed is 100 meters a second. The fire rate is going to be 1.75 rounds per second. The ammo count is 12. There's no critical hit. And again, you need Luna Snow for this. And as you can see, when you pop this, when you're using your Aqua Burst, it will actually turn into an ice ball. And when you hit your opponents, or if you hit the terrain, you will see an icy visual on the floor. And that will indicate anyone within that area will be slowed, man. This is a very good ability here, as it does allow you to keep enemies moving slowly and allow people to get easier shots, including headshots, on the enemy team. Is it one of the better abilities in the game for team-ups? Not really sure, but it's also pretty good at the same time. It's not a bad ability or one that you won't be using very often, but it is very, very useful. Now, his last team ability is going to be called New Friends. And with this, Jeff the Landshark can ride Groot's shoulders, receiving damage reduction, man. This is a targeted cast. The range is up to 12 meters, and the damage reduction is 35%. And again, you will need Groot in order to do this. And as you can see, when you do this here, you will hop on Groot's shoulders, similar to what we see Rocket Raccoon do, and both you and him get a 35% damage reduction. While riding his shoulders, you will be able to do both his Joyful Splash and his Aqua Burst, so don't feel like you're just sitting on his shoulders not doing anything. You will still be able to attack while getting damage reduction for both you and the Groot, baby. Now, overall, Jeff is a very good healer, in my opinion. As far as him being a solo healer, I wouldn't try to put him in that position, as if he's solo healing, he won't be able to take full advantage of his ult in the way that it needs to be taken advantage of, in my opinion. So it'd be best to have him as a secondary healer. This way, while he's ulting and swallowing up players and either sacrificing himself to kill everybody, or if he's just in the process of repositioning the team, you still have a healer for your team to sit back with everybody. So I would suggest best to have him as a secondary hero and not the only one, man. But let me know how y'all feel about Jeff and any other things y'all know about him down in them comments, man. But this has been another one of them character breakdowns, and I hope y'all enjoyed that, man. But as always, please like, comment, subscribe, follow, share, become a supporter, and catch me streaming on Facebook Gaming and Twitch at DatBoyETV. Now, catch you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.